Welcome to Game 2 of the series. Siddolio versus Grant. Grant got smashed horribly in Game 1. 496 victory point victory for Siddolio. So Grant's going to have to do pretty amazing this game if he's even going to have a chance in this series. Let alone faction selection. I don't know. He's going to have to really step up his game just to win Game 2, just to survive in the series. I think faction selection is already pretty much not going to happen. He's against allies on Minsk Pocket. I don't know how he managed to lose a 496 victory point victory as U.S. forces on Minsk Pocket. That's awful. That's just terrible. So, not off to a great start. Let's see if he can turn things around. 3 Grenadiers being fielded here. He has access to close air support, lightning war, and mechanized assault. Pretty serious business loadout, for sure. Against new Bolios, Soviet combined arms, mechanized support, and defensive tactics. So, a little bit different. Something a little bit different today. We don't see these very frequently. In 1v1 anyway. Certainly not defensive tactics. So I think Siddolio is going to make a pretty legitimate attempt for the Coco Jambo Award this series. I think he is. So here we go. Conscripts grabbing control of the right side munitions point, and a lot of Axis infantry is massing over here on the right side to engage against various conscripts set up in green cover positions. 2 squads of Grens moving into this sandbag position should be able to win this, I think. Unless Siddolio gets early Molotov research or something. And there's the retreat. Over here, conscripts are advancing beyond their cover towards the fuel. Seeing 2 squads of Grens over here, he doesn't think this fuel point will be defended, and he's correct. 3rd squad of Grens is heading straight right. These Pios working on the strategic point, so Siddolio is going to throw up some green cover over here while he takes control of the fuel point. Combat engineers engaging against Pios from a position in yellow cover at medium range should win that engagement if Pios don't leave that capture circle. Just standing there, and then they disengage. Now it's definitely too late to win that engagement. They're going to move towards the center to try and get back control of this fuel point anyway. Grenadiers moving to counter will struggle against these conscripts. And by the way, Grant has 100% lost faction selection. He's fallen below 496 VPs, so should this series go to Game 3, Siddolio will have faction selection. Conscripts force Grenadiers to retreat right here, and a full health squad is going to retreat as well, all the way back into the base, which is going to seriously delay his attempt to recapture the central fuel point. Combat engineers are going to get it under Siddolio's control, and he'll be off to a huge fuel advantage here at the beginning of the game. On the right side, the squad of conscripts is going to jump into some green cover here. This squad continues to harass the left. Siddolio has both munitions under his control, both fuel points, and a double cap going since his opponent has not yet taken the right side VP. So things probably could not be off to a much worse start for Grant here.
But only for those who are seriously wounded.
Mines going down there on the right side. MG42 moving to set up on the fuel point. Here on the left, Grenadiers are on their way to counter some conscripts and will catch them building some cover, but I don't think they can win the engagement. Conscripts run into short range on them with support from this flank, and those Grenadiers will definitely be forced to retreat or get wiped. Late retreat, in fact. Siddolio won't pull off an amazing no-scope headshot, so combat engineers will be forced to retreat right there, and these 2 Grenadier squads are going to jump up into the victory point. 3 squads of Grenadiers, actually. MG42 taking back control of the fuel while Siddolio harasses everything here on the right side, and he's also thrown down a few sneaky mines. Very aggressive placement on those mines. If Grant were to go tier 2 into a scout car, for example, pretty good chance of it hitting a mine. And he has no minesweeper and no munitions to spend on. Oh, he's actually upgraded with a flamethrower rather than an LMG on this map. first thing he upgraded was a flamethrower. Getting battle phase 1 now. Not sure what I think about the decision to go flamethrower with no map control, mines almost certainly getting planted, and the map being predominantly a long-range map. If you can get the flamethrower in range, sure. But that's the kind of thing you spend munitions on, I think, if you are already in the lead. Not something I think I would recommend if you're way behind like this. Minesweeper to try and carefully retake some territory would be my recommendation on your one squad of bios, and then LMGs on the Grens. And healing, when you can afford it. But really the best thing you can do is just not fall really behind in the first place. Flamethrower engaging against these conscripts over here on the right side, bringing them quite low.
The enemy is taking our territory.
That squad will be forced to retreat. This Grenadier also being forced to retreat. And Siddolio is actually gonna have to get off this battlefield, so the flamethrower did quite well in that, racking up 5 kills. I stand somewhat corrected. Siddolio forced off the battlefield, and it looks like Grant will start to get a little territory back under his control. I still think a minesweeper would be nice to have, though, because there's still a mine right there. Probably further mines being planted in this general area. Siddolio spending quite a bit of munitions on that, and he's just chosen defensive tactics, which means that the mines are going to be very real over here. 7 munitions, throwing them down all over the place over here on the right side. Trying to take this territory with Grenadiers is going to be extremely costly. In fact, we might even see a wipe on that flamethrower. Wow, that mortar. Mortar fielded by Siddolio. Oh, that's the heavy mortar, okay. Heavy mortar forces that machine gun back, and its very first shot already killed 2 squad members with that machine gun. Over here on the left side, Grenadiers taking control of munitions. Need to be careful of these mines.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Combat engineers trying to kite that flamethrower over this mine, I think.
They are wiping us out.
These combat engineers forced to retreat from 2 LMG Grens. Flamethrower is going to pull back a little bit, pulling them right over that mine, but they just retreated. Thought they were going to hit that for sure. This conscript squad absorbs fire while these 2 jump up into green cover. Since conscript sandbag fighting positions provide like 8 billion slots of green cover, I'm pretty sure those squads are both very well protected. And everything's going to have to make a full retreat from this area. And it looks like Siddolio is advancing quite hard across this battlefield, getting most territory back under his control, although he will need to send some stuff over here to the left side munitions point. Any engagement over there would be easy since his mine bled those Grenadiers quite badly. He's going to throw down more anti-personnel mines in this area, just scattering them everywhere as well as he can. I would say the only downside to those anti-personnel mines is the micro required to plant them. They don't plant in clusters like S-mine fields do. You have to manually plant every single one. Only 7 munitions, which you can do by shift clicking, but it's just kind of annoying. But other than that, they're pretty ridiculous. They do crazy damage, and they are stupidly cheap. Oh my god, that heavy mortar! Heavy mortar bursts a flamethrower. Grenadiers tank the flames as they retreat. This stuff is walking right through it. Fortunately no crits, but that machine gun takes a lot of damage. Grant is not able to maintain control over his fuel point here. Combat engineers might plant even more mines on this area. Grant getting completely pushed off this map. That heavy mortar bleeding his troops as they advance. It doesn't look like this push is going to succeed. He has gone tier 2 into a half-track, though. Half-track might give him a forward reinforcement potential he needs to try to come back into this game, but the standard 4 conscript 2 combat engineer opening from Siddolio is already just shutting down everything Grant is trying to do. And that heavy mortar is not helping.
We have 300 points remaining.
machine gun just got wiped. More mines being planted. Heavy mortar pulling back to safety a little bit. More anti-personnel mines. Nope, changed his mind. Combat engineers moving to try to push these grenadiers away with a green cover position right here, plus delaying the capture of the center VP. Clock is ticking quite quickly, by the way. Rifle grenade forces a retreat from that heavy mortar, bringing the squad quite low. And here comes a half track for forward reinforcement to make sure he wins the engagement against these combat engineers. These two squads start working on the right side. Anti-personnel mines have already brought that squad down to 2 men. Oh, he just retreated. Just retreated from his half track instead of just bringing up support. I think he could have established a strong front line up there if he had just been a little quicker about it. 2 T-70s in production now. That's going to shut down this half track so hard. Grenadiers retreated from the right side as well, I think. Unless they just died. Where did they go? I don't know. Here comes the T-70. I think the Grenadier squad over here died. I missed it though. Pios hit some anti-personnel mines over here as well and will also be forced to retreat. There's just mines everywhere over there. That's going to be so dangerous to even try without Minesweeper. T-70 is going to make the center impossible to retake. Are there any anti-personnel mines left? I don't think so. I think these piles will be okay.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. We have 200 points remaining. The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
Double T-70 heading left. And those conscripts actually took a bunch of friendly fire, but I don't think that's going to matter. Pretty sure this game's over and Siddolio is going to take a 500 victory point victory. In fact, there it is. GG, Grant has been defeated. Well played, Siddolio, who will defeat his first challenger.